Yes, sir. So, Grand Rich Rising, everybody. Running a little late today, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? What we got today? We got Hip Hop 101. Yeah, we got Hip Hop 101 today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, damn, boy, that's about your territory, ain't it, Mr. Ice Dog?
Nah,
Well, that's a lie. That's a lie. You were Mr. Kermit. I would actually want to hear Mr. Kermit tell us
yeah.
about his
So about
journey.
to say,
Let's
we
do
got
that.
Kermit in the
Yeah,
building.
yeah,
Let him get it. Let
yeah,
him get it. Yeah.
yeah. Let's
Okay,
do
I
that.
missed
Mr.
it.
Kermit, you have the floor.
You said you want to hear me say what now? I didn't hear you.
Okay. Let's start over. The subject matter and the curriculum for today is Hip Hop 101. Every day we have a curriculum. If you look at the schedule,
Oh
every
my
day we
God.
have a curriculum. I'll put the schedule in the chat just in case you don't have it for
No, no,
whatever
no. I have
reason.
it. I have it in front of me. I just didn't hear what you said. Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hip Hop
And
101.
so,
I mean, the
yes,
first
sir.
thing, the first thing to me is consistency on every level, whether it's the artist, the manager, people with the label or independent label. Consistency is number one. Um, the drive to move forward and do things and be successful. Um, Having a schedule, like knowing what you're going to be doing, like what you have here right now. Like if you did the exact same thing every day, this would be boring at some point. But by you having,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
this day we're doing this day we're doing that, it's like schedule. And if people come in and address that, we'll be good. Um, but yeah, so it's just visibility is important. Another thing, like when like okay, we have a beautiful young lady here that says Zoom user. We don't need to see
Right.
Zoom user. We need to see her
Her
name,
name.
her Instagram, her
Yes, sir.
social media. Like everybody else, at least has their name on here. But my preference, like myself, you know, Chill Will, the Kelly Franklin Music Group, King Cope, we all want to show people either a logo or something that tell you a little bit more about us. Or when you see us in other Zoom meetings, like what's the day? Wednesday, there's going to be a
Wednesday.
You know what's
DigiWax
up?
at 3 o'clock.
DigiWax. We got
Uh,
DigiWax and
Pastor
Coalition
Don, if he
tonight.
decides to do his, and then Maverick come clean later on tonight if he has one. So there's three that I know that's normally scheduled on Wednesday. Then tomorrow, if they have it, you got to throw it on Thursday. The only one I know,
Hmm.
and I know that Diamond has one. I think Diamond might do hers at 6:30 Eastern tomorrow because she's supposed to do Heather um
Heather Marie.
yeah, Heather Marie, but she wasn't available last week, so I think she said she'll come this week.
Yeah, she had a trip to Atlanta she had to make, so she
Yeah,
probably had to
yeah.
get on the road early or something.
So back to visibility. So man, I mean, I'm gonna add more stuff because I'm not trying to necessarily promote Rick Ross here on no thing or whatever. But this is a new MacBook Pro I have, and I haven't really loaded a lot of the pictures up. But anyway,
I'll say this before you get into your spiel. I'll say that Rick Ross is a great example. For one, I'm from Florida,
mhm.
and I know people don't like him for whatever they don't like him for, or whatever they might like him, love, don't like him, whatever. But Rick Ross is a great example. He's a businessman. I think that he's done stuff that most people don't even know how Rick Ross even got into the industry. Rick Ross was a writer first. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about that too. That's important.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
didn't.
funny because my best friend and I growing up, he never really liked Rick Ross, and it wasn't like political or personal or nothing like that. He just didn't like his style of music, and I always did. And
I love Rick
that
Ross.
just goes to show it's really a personal thing for Rick Ross. I like Rick Ross.
Yeah,
Right.
I like him too. The things about Rick Ross that people don't like is a couple things. One is the 50 Cent beef. If you a 50 Cent fan, then you on 50 Cent side. Okay, you got that part. You got the street thing of him using the name Rick Ross.
That's not his name, right? That's always been my main thing. Like, all right, bro. At one time, he was leaning toward Rose. He tried to
Right. Yeah, I
rebrand,
remember
but
that.
he didn't.
I remember that.
He
Yeah.
didn't stick with it. He didn't stick with it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He still
Right.
says it, but he didn't stick with it. I don't
I
know why he
remember
didn't.
seeing one thing where he was run off the road and shot at his Rolls Royce or something. Y'all remember that incident?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, but he's tied in with the Haitians, so you don't have too much problem. You know
so
what I'm
so
saying? So
people out here not playing about certain things. Another incident happened that scared the hell out of me was one of the producers or a guy affiliated with the label was murdered in Atlanta, I think, on the freeway in a Mercedes Benz. And I was like, wow, should I even keep showing this damn Rick Ross plaque or what? It seemed at some point, it seemed like everything associated with him was getting dealt with. That was the point I'm trying to say. Everything associated with him was being dealt with. In the street. Like, we're gonna show you about what you're doing, and then the whole thing about being a corrections officer and all that other stuff.
I don't really look at that no type of way. Only thing
either.
I looked at the type of way is the fact that he lied about it at first. That was the part that I was like, bro, you were caught, bro. That's your picture. Why are you lying? That's not me. I was never a corrections officer. Like, bro, why would you do that? Then it come to find out you got a whole nother, I don't know if they came up with a story about, selling the drugs or whatever, but that's what correctional officers do in Florida. So that to me sounded about right. Why you didn't just say that?
That shit ain't nothing. Yeah, sorry. It ain't no shame. It ain't no shame in that, man. Like I said, I was an armed guard. Then I became an officer, a federal officer. On top of that,
a lot of my family worked at the prison.
The feds is crazy though.
Hey, speaking of lying first, how about the fact of the reason why a certain person is in prison right now is not because of what he did, but because he lied about dragging somebody down the hall and called her a liar. He could have just paid her. That stuff would have went away. Would have never known nothing. But to call her a liar, the best way to have approached that would have been saying, look, I was on drugs. I've done some things I don't like that I'm not proud of. I apologize to everybody concerned or whatever and move on. But to say she's a lie, oh my God, dude, that's why your ass was locked up right now.
Damn. You talking about Diddy? You talking about Diddy?
Yep. But back to the thing about for and the people have come a little late as far as
hip-hop 101,
music industry 101. Like on my profile here, like I said, I got my name. I have my Instagram, one of my 3 Instagrams at the Superstar Maker Instagram, and I got my phone number, but I say text me. I don't tell nobody call me like I'm gonna pick the damn phone up 24/7. But I say text me.
I know that's right.
Contact. I made contact with a guy yesterday on that call, Trill, the one that say million something on his name. That was the artist that was on there. So I texted
last night.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what's interesting. I'm gonna text him the meeting in a minute. But what was interesting is that when I text him, I just said, Kermit Henderson from the Zoom call, whatever. And he said, "What's up? What you into? You're a DJ? You whatever." And so I was real busy when I was dealing with him. Plus, I was recording the meeting last night and stuff too. The Zoom call and multitasking,
which was fire, by the way.
Oh yeah,
the fact that
was great.
They didn't get to my record, but I didn't
they
care.
do that. They do pop-ups like that. They don't announce it in advance. They just decide they're gonna do it then. They had some beautiful ones on the weekend, like around the holiday season, like I'm
talking about like live mixing. I'm talking about the DJ was cutting it up, mixing. He was going crazy. I ain't gonna lie. He earned my respect last night getting off that way he was cutting them songs in and out. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So like everybody should have at least their name on their profile, or like I say, like the Kelly Franklin Music Group. This is what this whole thing is about. So to have that and the UMPG, that make a lot of sense. Let people know where you are, showing different logos of association, all of that. Trill got his thing where every time you see him, you're gonna see what he got, and then King Cope got his logo sitting up there. And just stuff like that, or Nate, he's on camera and he has his name. But like I said, I still prefer people to on their thing to show me some way I can contact you. Like I said, on mine, I have an Instagram and a phone number. So and even Alexis, for example, she has her name and then she has her.
You know what? What's crazy is I just realized I didn't have my full my Instagram on it, but I do because it's Trill Will Israel.
But one thing about you though, Trill, you the one person that come on these Zoom calls, and I got to make one too, that can just drop in the chat, your name, phone number, how to contact you, your website. You do it all. Matter of fact, if you put it in the chat now, because I know you got it handy if it's not already in there.
Oh yeah.
So people can see what I'm talking about in the chat.
It's already in there.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so we developed that here. That thing is when you come in, just drop your info in the chat because
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
sometimes you only
Like that
have
Team
10
SC
minutes.
shop, the one I got right there, the Team SC shop isn't just a merchandising shop. It's just a landing page for all of my information. You can get a hold of me through that on any like Instagram, Facebook. It's all linked to it. Anything that I want you to see is on there.
But let me just tell you this. I'm glad you said that, King Colt. You got to make it easy for people to do something. You can't say, "Oh, go to my website and you're gonna see everything." I'm gonna tell you why. That's similar to I was at a Nerve DJ conference one year, and this upcoming artist was telling DJs, like on a panel of DJs, magazine people, all of that, right? And he gonna ask a question. He say, "Oh yeah, y'all can Google me." What? I'm not going to Google you, but I'm not saying disrespectful as far as your website. I'm saying as far as the fact that if I can see it right here, then I know, hey, let me go to this Instagram. But if I got to, I'm on a Zoom call, I got to click on that, go to your website, this, that, and other. Whereas
Too
most
many
people
steps.
are about Instagram. Most people are about the Instagram. That's what I
Yeah.
noticed. Older people, Facebook, people went to high school with, college, or whatever, Facebook or something like that. LinkedIn, if you really want to get into business. I was amazed at LinkedIn. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give an example. I put a video in LinkedIn 2 years ago that was an upcoming artist, and the first person that commented or liked it was a guy that had been working at Def Jam for 30 years. I'm like,
Uh,
wow. I mean, not that he even listened to it, watched it, or whatever, but just the fact that I know him and he saw it, it let me know, wow, okay, people do really see this on LinkedIn. Because you would think
Exactly.
like, hey, that's strictly if you're looking for work or whatever, but it's not like that, you know. But yeah, everybody, we're talking about hip hop 101, music business 101. So if anybody got any ideas or questions, this would be a great time
Yeah.
to
So
start asking them.
I really wanted to interview you anyway because I really wanted to see like how did you exactly get your start in the industry and like you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, because that might be a jewel in there for somebody to hear.
Well, that's not going to be no jewel, but I guess it's interesting.
Uh,
yeah.
Anyway, what I did was I was in college at Case Western Reserve University, Cleveland, Ohio, which nowadays costs about probably $60,000 a year to go there. It didn't cost that much when I was there, but anyway, so if you look at that situation, so I was there, I was DJing on the weekend to raise a little money, for what I was doing. So so I was DJing and I also was passing out flyers, marketing. I had been a proofreader, professional proofreader since I was 19 years old because I worked with this guy that great guy, but he had an alcohol problem in a print shop. So he was always messing up flyers. He'd do 5,000 flyers. We're talking about 1973, by the way. So he would print flyers up, and back then the print shop they had to take each letter and put it in the machine, to do it. So if he could make one mistake, he print up 5,000 flyers and got to throw them away. So I kept noticing he had a big stack of remake flyers. So I'm like, well, I did a trade with him. I said, do, I buy my own paper, which I bought at wholesale. I would get like 50,000, like I think it was like 50,000. You get like a pallet full of paper. So I would buy the paper, any paper he used, he just pay for it, and he would print my flyers for free, and I would proof his stuff. So that's how I started that. So
hmm,
I was DJing. I was DJing on the weekend at Case, Cleveland State, different colleges around and all of that, to raise money, for a little extra money to have. And I ran into this guy in DJing. I ran into a guy named Jim Stevens, Jim Stevens, Stephens, and he worked at a station called WABQ AM radio. He was the music director. So we became real cool. Plus, one of my fraternity brothers worked there too, named G. Kelly Jones. Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated to the day I die. Life member, crossover by myself in December 1st, 1973. And they wasn't doing that back then. But if you watch the movies and see all of a bunch of people pledging the fraternity or doing steps, guess what? I did all that by myself. I was the first,
wow.
I was the first person to do it in the 59-year history of the chapter. Nobody ever done it.
Wow.
Matter of fact, they even had me they had me on hold for a week to decide when the last guy dropped my line. they was going to decide if they're going to even try to do it, because that normally, if you like people that go over by themselves, they normally have some kind of nervous breakdown or something, or
Mm.
whatever at that time with all the stuff. We talking about 53 years ago. So we ain't talking about when you write a check now and you represent somebody all of a sudden. We're not talking about that. So anyway, so he took me. So I would, he was in the Jim Stevens was a friend of mine. So he took me back on a live. He did a live remote at a record store. Live remote is when the station comes in a portable vehicle and go live right there at the place. So he was outside in like a truck going live right in front of the store. So I was with him. He introduced me to the owner of the store. It's called Fillmore East Records at the corner Lakeview and Tuscarora in Cleveland, Ohio. And so the guy, I met the guy or whatever, and I asked him if he needed any flyers or whatever. He said yes. So I did a flyer for him, and I passed the flyers out for free and increased his business. At the time, even with the radio spots, he was like the number 3 to 5 record store, urban record store in town. When I did his promo, he flew to the top over the 2 big guys that was there. So he sat me down. He said, "Look, I want you to be my partner, but not in this store. I want you to, go open up another store and we'll, be my partner." So I was never his partner in that particular store, but we ended up getting like 5 stores over time. And, that was my start. I went out
Wow.
to Painesville, Ohio, which was mostly not really an urban community. Matter of fact, I was the only Black person that owned a business downtown Painesville at the time. This was 1970. Well, this was I think that was in 75. It could be 74, 75. I was the only person that owned a business, the only person of color that owned a business downtown. It was above a Brown Furniture store in Painesville, Ohio. And the weird part about that is that, it's mostly like it had more of a country feel to it. So when I first opened, all my customers was like basically buying country music, country artists, rock and stuff like that. Then I was only there a year and a half. Then when I closed a year and a half later, I went from like 98% country and rock to 98% R&B and hip hop. Matter of fact, one of my biggest records before I got out of there, 76 was Johnny Taylor Disco Lady. That was one of my biggest sellers. Also, Jim Stevens, the same guy, I was doing events with him. And another guy that people from Texas might have heard of that's older, his name is Marco Spoon. He was a DJ. I met him when he was in high school. See, the one thing about most DJs, I'm not going to say all DJs, most DJs have big egos. So I had an ego too. So I would do my parties. I had these 2 guys, Marco Spoon and Michael Gage. They were high school seniors, but they were DJs, and they would open my shows, and I'd come on at 12 midnight like I'm some kind of big thing, and I would play "Hello, It's Me" by the Isley Brothers was my theme song. So I'm coming on at midnight, Mr. Big Bag, what I call myself back then, the DOP, the Dean of Pleasure, because fraternity term for like Dean of Pledges, so I changed it to Dean of Pleasure was my DJ name back then. I almost forgot what it was till just now. But anyway,
Damn.
so you gonna say something, Will?
No, I thought that was funny.
Okay.
You almost forgot about it till just now.
So the Dean of Pleasure, and it's just crazy, like to come on like that. But I was real popular and stuff from DJing, because the whole thing about it, back to the music industry 101 is that I was visible. I had business cards. I had my name out there. Like I was so busy working on trying to get Alexis to #1 the other week that I forgot that the Fleet DJs conference was this past weekend. Plus, I was just tired and beat anyway. But I would have loved to have been at the Fleet DJs conference in Jacksonville. Matter of fact,
Hey, can you let us know, like, if somebody like myself or anybody else wanted your help getting those #1s, what they would have to do? You know what I mean? And because that's important too.
well, I have starters programs where it's less, where like I work with people I work with mostly don't have a lot of money, and I've always done that. And I don't really, and I'm gonna tell you something that sounds crazy, and it has to be on this recording. I don't charge people for what I do. My thing is,
Wow.
yeah, it's just weird that my thing is like, I just figured that I should already be dead like 8 times already. So I don't want number 9 to happen. So, between the kidnap twice at
Ooh.
gunpoint, being shot at, all kind of crazy stuff, even though I'm
Come
not
on,
from
man.
this, I'm not from the street, but I live my life on street principles, meaning, I don't believe in this snitching and different things or whatever, all of that.
Right.
However, when a certain person, a certain famous person, had some people threaten my life back in 1999. I don't know if you call it snitching, but I emailed everybody in the music industry and said this particular distribution company threatened my life,
Mm.
you know, and so if
That ain't snitching. You just putting everybody on beat. Yeah, I don't think that's snitching. That's just, you just let people know, hey, if you weren't wondering why I'm not going to these functions,
right,
this
because
is why.
the thing about, like I said, I never called a name. I just said the distribution company, which was at the time it was BMG, but the
Right.
artist was what the situation was. It was 1999. It was Busta Rhymes, a Janet Jackson record, that $2 million video. What's it
What?
called?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Scream was the Scream.
No, no, not Scream. It was the one.
That was him and her and Michael Jackson. It was one right after that.
Yeah, it's the
Jesus,
what's
that song.
what's it gonna do?
gonna make your body
Gonna make it.
scream.
Yep,
Right.
that's
That,
it. Ah.
yeah, that's the. You know. Yeah.
Isn't
So
that
it was that
okay?
one,
Yeah.
and it was up against. It was on the chart against um uh um Whitney Houston and TLC. What was supposed to happen was it was already recorded. Talked about that Whitney Houston and um and TLC was going to make history because Whitney had been #1 for X number of weeks and was going to pass the baton to the label mate, even though Whitney was on Arista and TLC was on LaFace Records, but it still, was Arista, as part of the same thing. So who
Right.
owned Arista. I ain't got to say no names, but
Nope, you don't. You know, should know.
so the people representing them called me, cussed me out because it was, it's tricks to doing things. So obviously I use,
Yeah.
what I do, and I've been doing it since the late 80s, and strongly started in 91. Matter of fact, in 91, just to tell you 91, what happened in 91 is when they started something called SoundScan. And that probably was the biggest mistake Billboard ever made because the first week that they did SoundScan, well, first of all, anybody that's in the game know that it was always about the New York hip hop scene. It wasn't
It
about
was.
nothing
Come
but
on
New
now.
York.
And
Nobody
until
else but New York.
96, 97, the South
Yeah,
had something to say.
yeah. Nobody meant anything unless you were from New York. So what happened was when they started SoundScan and got real sales on real what's really selling versus what people claim is selling, NWA became the #1 album on the at least on the black side of the chart, the hip hop or whatever side, and that woke eyes up like, whoa. So that was the beginning of that situation of them even being recognized, with the West Coast being recognized, you know. And I was fortunate to be there. Matter of fact, at the beginning of Death Row, because one of my mentors, name is Hank Caldwell. He worked at Solar Records with Dick Griffey and them, and it was the Whispers, Shalimar, Howard Hewitt, all of them. I can't think of everybody else.
Hey, and speaking of, not to cut your wisdom, but I just found out last night that PG Lang acquired Death Row Records last week through
Who?
Snoop Dogg. PG Lang, which is
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar's label
Okay.
that he owns, him and Dave Free, they purchased Death Row Records last week.
Yeah, I don't pay
And
none of that no attention. I'm gonna tell you why in a
yeah.
minute.
Okay, good.
As you know, Death Row allegedly was started by Harry O with $1 million,
Right, correct.
$1 or $2 million, and all of that. So, and like I said, my friend, my mentor, one of my mentors, Hank Caldwell, was the president of Solar under Dick Griffey, who owned it, and they were
Okay.
involved with Death Row in the very beginning. Matter of fact, I think they was involved with that first record that Snoop and Dre did that was in that movie.
Right.
So all
The
of that.
car
So
wash, the wash. Come out the wash.
no, not Watch the movie with that the same star that's in the boys this the same one that does damn, I can't think of the movies that he's doing. But anyway, famous actor. It was Snoop's first record. Matter of fact, the story that you see on social media now is Snoop talking about that he had to. Matter of fact, I think he said on the interview we had with him that when he did the first record, he had to rap live. He had to rap live for the record exec, and the record wasn't even finished or whatever. And then they ended up using on that first soundtrack that they did. That was the first song that they had out. I just can't think of it right now.
Oh, murder was the case? Oh no,
No,
not
not Murder Was a Case.
That was later. That was
This
later.
is before they
Hold
was
on.
even. This before Snoop was even popular. This was before.
That deep cover, 187.
Yeah, I
That
think
deep cover
187.
soundtrack.
There it is.
Yeah, I think it
There
was
it is.
187 or something about
There it
187.
is.
Yeah, but that was the first one. It was on the movie soundtrack. The movie wasn't that great, so that's why we don't know. You know, can't think of the name. I liked it though. I saw it recently again.
It was
But
deep cover.
anyways, huh?
Deep cover. That's it.
Deep cover.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. You're
The
right. That's
song was
deep
called
cover.
That shit
Deep
was
Cover,
rough.
and the movie
That
was
was
called Deep
bother me.
Cover. Same 187, Deep Cover.
Right.
Same
Thank you. That's
same
it.
movie.
That's what I'm looking for. See, when you're 71 years old, you can't remember everything.
Snoop say,
So I need
he
help.
say, creep with me. If I step through the hood, maniac in that black collar Snoop Eastwood. Yeah, that one.
There you go. Thank you.
That was on the stack of 5 movies that we watched every day.
You know, so
Just in there.
yeah, I was trying to think of the Boys in the Hood with the name. I couldn't think of to try to tell you the actor that played the dad. I couldn't think of his name.
Larry Fishburne.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, he
Larry
started in that
Lawrence
movie.
Fishburne.
He started in that movie Deep Cover too. So anyway,
Shit, I got the vinyl to that movie.
so I remember you know, like the beginning of Death Row, I have every single gold, platinum, multi-platinum, 100 million sold on Death Row because I was there from day one. You know. Okay. You doing screen sharing. Go ahead.
If you got to ask, you can't afford it. In that case, I'll take 2.
St. Charles. This was the man that sparked the Bay Area.
Solar Music Group. That's what he's talking about. Yep. Yep. Right in the history. Damn, West history. God damn.
This the man that started it all.
Now, wait a minute. Is that the same as the Solar in LA? I think it's a difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. But so forth is Bay Area, the Solar Music Group. This is him right here, St. Charles Thurman.
Yeah, I remember seeing that that label name because I was getting music from the Music People out of Oakland, the Music People. And what's that guy name that was up in the northern part of California that was a distributor? I can't think of his name.
Oh, that's that dog. He in Africa now. That's what the hell? Black Market Records.
No, not Black Market. No, I'm not talking about Black Market Records. I'm talking about the distributor. This guy, I can't think of his name. He has a bad rep up there in that area. That's why everybody was dealing with Music People because everybody loved Music People for some reason. And the Music People was owned by 2 twin brothers. One lived in New York and one lived out there in Oakland.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that's where I got. That's when I first heard about Master P and them because I had the TRU Christmas Maxi cassette. So every time we interview Master P, I remind him about the TRU Maxi cassette. It's kind of embarrassing to say you're going way back to a cassette to describe how long you've been knowing somebody.
What you say?
It's not embarrassing. I'm not embarrassed.
That's just like the thing about Hammer. We were dealing with Hammer when he had the vinyl out of his trunk because I worked with the Midwest Record Pool, Cleveland, Ohio, that was promoting the Hammer stuff when he was selling out of his trunk. So I got all the MC Hammer stuff too because one of the 2 owners of the Midwest Record Pool ended up working at Capitol Records. And I end up, getting all the Hammer stuff, the platinum, double platinum, 7 times, and even 10 times platinum. Only a couple of people got the 10 times platinum, even though mine was destroyed later in fire and water damage. But what happened was they were at a Hammer concert at Richfield Coliseum outside of Cleveland, Ohio. We were backstage, bunch of football players, myself, Hammer people, and all of that. And he had just made 7 million sales. So he congratulated on the 7 million sales. So we figured that Vanilla Ice did 7 million. We figured that Hammer definitely ain't gonna do no more than that. He lucky to get to the same 7 million that Vanilla Ice did. You know, right? So I said, so me being the big mouth that I am, after congratulating him, I say, let's take it to 10 million. I say, we can go to 10 million. People looked at me, I could tell they looked at me like this MF is crazy. This is crazy. But guess what? It went to 10 million. And and I said, so that night I said, if it go to 10 million, do I get that plaque too? They said, yeah. So I ended up getting a 10 million plaque in addition to the 7. And that also made me look at something. It's two things that happened in the music industry that had me looking at something kind of sideways, is how he went from 7 to 10 million. And that's another, hold on, let me, because I'm gonna forget. Another situation was a guy, what's the guy that sounds like Tank? The other guy that you confuse people confused with Tank.
Jaheim?
Yeah, thank you, Jaheim. Jaheim, people called me when his record was at 850,000 sales, and they were going for 1 million sales. And when I saw it go to 1 million, which of course I helped and all of that, but it was like, okay. So I started like, okay, well, it seemed like things don't look right here. So I'm gonna just put it that way. I'm not gonna go into detail about it, but I'm like, things don't look right. But I had been knowing that. It just, I was surprised that when the millions pop up, I'm okay with the #1 or this happened, that happened. But when I see millions, it's crazy to me. And then also as far as the inaccuracy concerning, Tekashi 69 has a Instagram post. It was still there 2 years ago. I'm gonna see if it's there today. If somebody texts me to remind me to look for it, I'll find it and send it to y'all or show it tomorrow. But where
we covered that when it was all exposed that everybody was binking them damn sales, man.
Right, but the crazy part about it was that he mentioned that what's that girl name that did a song with Justin Bieber? Anyway, the female artist he was talking about, Ariana Grande. He said that they went 20 minutes before the closing hour, which is midnight, and purchased streams for her to go like from #5 to #1 or to go #1 or whatever. Because he felt his record should be #1. He had too much information to not have gotten that from somebody that worked at a record label. So somebody probably got fired or probably turned up missing or died by natural causes after that. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Because that was just too much information he had. He had it like he worked there. But anyway, so him saying that, the bad part that people didn't catch was I saw a response from Justin Bieber, which he should have just kept quiet and minded his own business, just let it go. His response said, "Oh, you can only buy 5 per credit card." Like, dude, what you even doing knowing that? What are you even doing knowing that fact? I don't care if somebody told you or whatever. What are you doing knowing that? You should just let that alone. Let Tekashi 69 do him, and you do you, and don't even comment, stay quiet, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to go away. And it did. It's going to go away. But the one thing people never saw that I saw was the change of ownership so many different times, because when something like that happens, you have to distance yourself from it. And the easiest way to distance yourself from it is say, I just bought the company.
I don't work.
I just bought exactly. I don't know what they did. But we're not doing that.
And that's usually why when people come in, they change the whole building. They change the whole structure of the company and who's working, what department and the floors. They get rid of it and start over because you got all them people. They whatever happened before, they're to blame for it, so they gotta go. Simple. It's simple.
Yeah,
that's how it happened.
When I took over my store, when I was running the Domino's I was working at, I started out and I sat back. I didn't change nothing for a couple months. I just watched everybody. I let them get comfortable and do what they want to do. And as soon as they all revealed who they really were, I pulled out the hatchet, bro, and I just started chopping motherfuckers.
I see Mike Lee got something to say, and I definitely want to call on him in a second, but I just want to finish one point. The reason why I don't care about who owns what labels and stuff nowadays, because I already know how that works. But the reason why I don't, it's 2 reasons why I don't pay attention to the death row thing at this point in my life is that when the lady from Canada bought it, okay, and then because a friend of mine out in California bought all of the product, when they had like like when you have a clearance sale and whatever. And I'm sure he probably paid like 10 cents on the dollar, but he had all that stuff at his place. He has a big, warehouse. He bought a school. He actually bought a school, and that's his office now. But he bought all the death row product that was available, probably like 10 cents on the dollar. And that was when the lady in Canada bought death row. Now here's when I just said I'm not going to pay attention to death row at all. After her, who bought it, Trio? After her,
well, there was a company, it was a holding company that bought it, and in between, and then that's when Snoop bought it, and then so now,
hold on. My point was that hold on, Hasbro. The reason why I stopped paying attention, Hasbro Toy Company bought it.
Yeah,
Hasbro
you're
Toy
right.
Company bought it, and I'm saying I'm not going to pay this any attention anymore.
Right.
That's what I stopped looking at it. What's up, What's up, Mike Lee? You got your hand up. That's the way we should try to do anyway, is people raise their hand or whatever.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, so like everybody.
When he start
like,
talking, take his hand down for him because he never take his hand down. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, okay, no. So like, yeah, man, like everybody like check the chat, man. I sent the Zoom for the day, and I sent like the flyer today. Added a couple more people on the digit way. So you got Spark Dog on there. They got Drummer Boy coming through the damn shit. Uh-huh.
Okay, Spark Dog, that's a Drummer Boy artist. Yeah, I know Spark.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Like, man, Death Row is a part of so many different other companies that done sold and done bought them and shit. Yeah, I remember that.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Holding company, but he's right. Hasbro did buy him. I forgot about that.
That's crazy. Hasbro Toy Company. How can they buy Death Row? That doesn't even make no sense.
Money talk, about
No, I'm just saying
as far as
the image of Hasbro Toy Company. Like your kids, 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6 years old need to be, listening to Death Row music.
No, I don't think they ever really did anything with it. I think they just did the licensing and stuff like with like Walmart and shit like that. Because I've seen Death Row shit at Walmart. When I seen that, I was like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
Right next to the Pokemon cards.
I'm talking about right there in Florida. And I'm in Florida. You see me? So like it was like kind of a shock. Like, okay, Snoop, okay.
Yeah, you get My Little Ponies, the Suge Knight edition.
Right. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So Chill Will, what else you want me to tell you?
Well, so I mean, goddamn. So basically, you're one of the architects of the whole industry. Basically, what I just heard.
Yeah, well, I come from retail, so my thing was always, marketing, going to conferences. I would get 5,000 business cards printed at one time. And it was less than $100. You have different companies charge different prices to get it. So I would always get like the cheapest I ever got it was $60 plus shipping. But usually under $100, I get 5,000 business cards. So I would go to events, and I was my own street team person. Even to this day, at 71 years old, I still do the same thing. I'll go pass flyers out or whatever. I'm not, I'm never too big to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've never thought I was better than anybody or any of that, arrogant or none of that. People, some people may think it or whatever for whatever reason, but I've never felt like that. I'm a true believer of each one teach one. Because I could easily be on here quiet, recorded, don't say nothing. But if you ask a question, I'll tell you, because it's about each one teach one, pass it forward. I never worry about another person's pocket, what they do and how they do their business or whatever. I just worry about what I do. And my thing is, like I said, because I'm the last living member of my immediate family, I figure God has me here for a reason, or some higher power has me here for a reason. So I'm here to do good and to act right and not mess up with nobody, not play no games, nothing, none of that. So, and I figure I can wake up tomorrow and still be living, because half the people in my family died before they reached 70. And I'm the last one left.
Okay. That's some
Hey,
steep stuff right there. That's deep. That's deep now. Hold on. Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions for Mr. Kermit, man? He done broke down his whole, hit pass history, how he really got going, being the only member of his fraternity on his line to graduate to come through. Yeah, that's crazy. All that stuff is legendary.
Yeah, like I said, the biggest thing about the fraternity thing is the fact that they were not doing that back then.
Nah, they wasn't. They wasn't doing that.
You
Nah,
know,
they wasn't. You're right.
so
All right, Mr. Kelly, it might be your turn,
well,
Mr.
shoot.
Solar.
Oh yeah.
hey,
Same.
speaking
Yeah,
of Mr.
Mr.
Kelly,
C.
I can hear him talk all day because he be talking my language. But I'm gonna go on mute.
I mean, no, man, it's all about experience. I tell everybody I was the B-52 stealth bomber in the sky, or you can't detect me on the radar. I have a receipt book so damn big, it's amazing. You know, just being there. And then at the time that I came into fruition in the business, which was 1993. That was at a perfect time. It was the end of high school, if you would. In the music industry, which was the golden age, the last primordial solid age of music before destruction. You know what I'm saying? They said gangster rap was the part of destruction. Yeah, I can't say, but it was worse. It was worse. It was worse. So that was the emergence of from what I seen. I spoke with Master P. I used to go pick up Silk the Shocker from Richmond High School, Richmond, California. That is Richmond High School. Him and Gunji, one of my right hand man, which is E40's half brother. So I used to pick them up from school, from the high school, every day, because it is a hell of a walk, from the side of town we stayed. And then what's the damn No Limit Records was down the street, about 2 blocks. Ephraim Galloway stayed right across the street from me. And for those who don't know who Ephraim Galloway is, he's a profane musician, producer, in the lines of Dwayne Wiggins and Elijah Baker, which was Tony's musical band leader, and what's that, Sons of Funk, the R&B group where they recorded their first album first album at right across the street from my house. So but back to that, man, just to be there. And Percy himself, Master P, his exact words are, quote, "Watch what I do when I go to New Orleans." He said, "You think this is," because I told him, I said, "Man, I like your stuff, man." And he's like, "Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Watch when I move back to New Orleans." And it's just funny. I tell everybody this story, a few months later, laying on the couch, watching, just watch TV till I fell asleep, man. And MTV came on, MTV Cribs. And I hear this distinct voice in that, and right when he said the name, I opened my eyes and I jumped up, and everybody was in my studio, and I called him out, and I was like, "Yo," I said, "Look." I'm like, "What?" I said, "Man, Percy on TV." We never called a nigga Master P. Nigga named Percy. So, yeah, so like Percy on TV. And then he's showing us his crib and shit. And then I looked at Gunji. I said, "Didn't that nigga just say that shit a couple of months ago? Watch when he get to New Orleans." I said, "Man." So that was the kickstart for me. You know what I'm saying? Kickstart for me. He gave me some game too on the recycle. I call it the recycling business. That's when he would get his records, shrink wrap them, the tapes and shit, shrink wrap them, and put them in the store for consignment, right? Then he'll send Mia X and all them out there, all the little homies in the projects or whatever the case may be, to go buy them same records and bring them back to him. He'll repackage them and send them back to the record store.
Record scalping. That nigga was record scalping, not ticket scalping.
It's recycling. He recycled his own product. That's how Master P got the hell over. And then on top of that, he was, up on his business. He was going to school to get his business degrees and all this other stuff, man. So he was the brick. He was the bricklayer. And then he spread that game to Baby from Cash Money. Taught him how to do it. And Baby and then went out there and did the same damn thing. So that was the uprising from the South. Uprising from the South, so forth, is setting in business, and the destruction of Bay Area music in its entirety. So I mean, I say that, and I say that with a lot of pride, a lot of pride, and I can't be mad at him. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't selfish. He told a person what to do. It's just up to you to apply the information and succeed. So that was the end of Bay Area. They tried. These fellas tried. Those who had money, they hung on and kept on doing what they're doing because we're known for being independent. LA, they hung on and kept on doing what they're doing because they are independent. Everyone, this whole state is independent. We don't depend on the industry to do nothing for us until they really see. And I can speak for myself. I mean, I don't live in a mansion or drive a Bentley Phantom. You know what I'm saying? But I have real estate in this business, and that's what it is. They're like, man, this man survived 4 decades in this business without being a dope knock or, some bum on the street pushing a cart asking for money on the side of the freeway. And I have a stockpile of songs, and I done worked with all type of musicians from Patti LaBelle to the Escovedos, man. It's a long list. I can name, but I ain't in the name dropping, but I've been there. So they came to me. Universal came to me, and they made me they gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse. No Diddy, you know what I'm saying? They gave me an offer that I couldn't refuse. So I can tell you this much: my kids, my grandkids, and my great grandkids, and my great great grandkids, they're gonna be all right. If I do not see not a nickel of that shit. But I know that my kids is taken care of, and their kids, the Kelly lineage is going to be okay for the rest of their lives. So this is what it's all about, for me. Put me up a bronze statue. Etch my name. Well, my name is already etched in hip hop. So, give a damn if you ain't heard of me or know nothing about me, but just know you've met me, and I speak truth. I speak truth about everything because I have receipts for it.
The emancipator, the Baron of the Bay.
That's right. I'm not self-proclaimed. It's all by conquest. It's all by conquest. These niggas running around here, they're talking about they the this and they the that. No, you ain't. Who said that? Oh, you feeling good like that? Okay, that's cool. What's up, Funky Skunk? We see you, player.
Funky Skunk. We're gonna do roll call in a second here.
Yeah, we can go ahead and run that.
Yeah, everybody. How y'all doing? Sorry, I'm coming on late.
Yes, sir, man. All is well, man. Appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody for coming. Kermit got his hands up. Okay, come on, Hurt.
Yeah, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on here. Okay, you made a comment. You said I got a deal with Universal, however you said. You say, but no Diddy. Now explain to us what's a no Diddy deal versus a Diddy deal.
Okay. So
that's funny.
So I'm gonna break it down for y'all. These,
He
when
set
these,
you up just then.
yeah, let me fade you for a minute. Let me get you, let's run a fade real quick. Now I know some people. They this the second time I got approached. You know what I'm saying? First time was Def Jam. I didn't tell you that one. I sent their ass packing.
Damn.
Yeah, I told them get the fuck out of my face. just like that. And I had 8 witnesses that could tell you, yeah, he told them straight like that. Yeah, I told them just like that. But with the Universal, it's because my colleagues, you know what I'm saying? My colleagues, shout out to Ray and my little brother Corrosive over at MRE. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in the position I am in right now. But as it needless to say, my little brother Corrosive have a whole lot to do with this. Now, mind you, he's new school, but he got business savvy. You know what I'm saying? And he got into a position. I don't want to put business out there, but he was in the room at the right time. Let's put it like that. In the room at the right time.
That's all it takes.
All it takes. Shake hands and kiss the babies. You know what I'm saying? And he did the right thing. That as him being, as me being a role model to him with this music stuff, because I taught him a lot too. And then his father, Ray, shout out to Ray T, I did his first 3 hits. That man still eating off them. Yeah, he's eating off them hits, and I am too. Like I said, hits. I'm not talking about just a song that did cool. I said hits. That man has hits, and y'all ain't never heard of Ray T, Special Request. And you might think their music is trash, but I'm going to tell you one motherfucking thing. The world
loves it.
Is your stage. The world is your stage. And if the world love it, piss off.
Fuck with everybody else.
Yeah, they can piss off.
So bad. If it sucks so bad, why am I getting paid for it then?
Right. You're right.
That part right there.
So back to the
stay broke.
back to the no Diddy part. So with that being said, I've known some people. I mean, rest in peace, Dwayne Wiggins from Tony. Told him how many songs I had in the Universal library, and he said this. He said, "How the fuck you got songs in there and you ain't got no hits?" I said, "Baba Duke, who the fuck said I ain't got no hits?" Right. The key part. Yeah, that part.
The laugh out loud. Right. LOL.
Yeah.
Right.
LOL like a motherfucker. I'm like, yo, who said I ain't got no hits? I said, you better go look at them credits. My name come up. When you type in my name, you'll see George Clinton and R. Kelly. I'm in
right in between.
I'm in between those two people. Oh yeah. So I'm accredited for a lot of stuff. So but back to what we was talking about. So I know some people who had to literally ride the goat with a thong on. Yeah. To get up in there. So they got Diddy sized. Yeah. Right. They got hungry. They got the whole hot chop. Yeah. They got the business.
And they all sitting in the corner crying together right now. Because now Diddy locked up. Now what?
Yeah. So they put their puppets. Let me put it like that. They're nothing. They're puppets.
Right.
They told. Yeah, they do as they're told. Me on the other hand. And you remember when I got the deal, I said, shit, no, and I showed y'all. It says 100% control.
Yeah. He got one of them deals.
I don't work for them. Them motherfuckers work for me.
Yes, sir.
All of them. Everybody you see up on it, they work for me.
That's when I knew you was the architect. I said, okay.
I own the platform. I own the platform. Me and Les Franklin own the platform. That's the shit that they don't like.
No, they don't like that. No.
Haters all. Yeah, and the haters always say, well, man, how they always doing this? How they always doing that? Yeah, and pick up that iPhone 17 Max you got
Use it.
and
Learn how to
use
use
it.
it.
Yeah, learn how to use it because we everywhere. We in jukeboxes. We everywhere. Man, how you do that? Man, it's called business, bruh. This is an NDA. You're not disclosure. You is not a factor to this business.
Exactly.
But but I'm the same cat walk around here with the dirty jeans on, going fishing with a turban on his head. I'm not in the Rolls Royce or none of that. No, I'm triple OG big homie from the Acorn Projects. That's it. But the people that know me. That's Ice Dog right there. Yeah, what's up, homie? Right, that's about it. I'm regular. Give me some dap or a hug or something. What's up with your partner? Oh, not much. I'm the same old same spots. For real.
Hey, Mr. Kelly, I was going to say, check your inbox on Messenger and see if you could play that video for me, because I really want everybody to see what Kendrick and PG Langer is doing, bro. Because they putting on a master class on how to conduct business, your own business in the music industry. Notice I didn't say conduct business in the music business, because that's a separate thing. But to conduct business, your own business, and own your platform completely in the music industry. And that's what they've managed to do. That's what they've managed to do. And I really want to, I take it as a template. I take it as a copy. I take it as a something to build on, a building block. You know what I'm saying? And I really want to run that play. And that's what we're doing. You know what I mean?
All right.
That's what we're doing.
Here we go.
Business where most people spend their careers trying to look like they own something.
Right.
Dave Free just walked into a boardroom in downtown Los Angeles on a random Wednesday morning and bought one of the most sacred catalogs in the history of American music. Death Row Records, the full institution, not a piece, not a stake, the whole thing. Masters, publishing, unreleased vault, the founding era intellectual property, and every strand of DNA that made the West Coast, folded under the PG Lang umbrella, signed, sealed, and slid across the table before most of the industry even knew a deal was on the calendar. And the part that pushed every group chat in music into total meltdown is this. Drake found out the exact same way you and I found out, on Instagram. Not through a phone call, not through a whispered leak, not through a manager text at 3 a.m. A single post, a single tag, a single acquisition that just rewired the ownership map of West Coast hip-hop in one clean stroke. Stay locked in, because the way Dave Free pulled this off is not a music industry story anymore. It is a masterclass in silence, and it is going to be studied for the next 20 years. Before we go any deeper, do me one small favor. Hit the like, hit subscribe, and turn the notifications on, because this channel lives on you sharing these stories, and I promise you the rest of this breakdown is worth the 2 seconds it takes to tap.
Okay, real quick before I go on about that. So you see how he took over they took Dave Free and took over the LA scene. So Ghazi over at Empire, that's what he basically did for Northern California and the rest of the world.
And that's what I would like to do for not just the South, but basically the rest of the Eastern and the West and the Southern parts of the United States, because the West has already been spoken for. So I want to go ahead and sew this up down here. And I want to, and I
do want to say, man, I wish Tech Nine would take over the Midwest region. You know what I'm saying? But that's a kind of a toss up. Yeah, he built it. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So strange music, it should be a pantheon as well.
I agree.
All right.
That button. You carried this channel here, and I will not forget it. Now here is where the whole story turns. Death Row Records is not a label the way most labels are labels. Death Row Records is a monument. It is the house that Dre built, the runway that Snoop walked out of, the vault that still holds pieces of Tupac the world has never officially heard, and the founding blueprint of the entire West Coast blueprint as it exists today.
LA.
When Snoop Dogg bought the catalog back in 2022, Every corner of hip-hop applauded it, and rightfully so. It was a moment of cultural repatriation, a black artist purchasing back a black institution that had been passed around for white-collar boardrooms for 2 decades. It was symbolic, it was overdue, and for the last 3 years, Snoop treated the catalog exactly the way a legend should treat a sacred artifact. He held it, he guarded it, he rolled out selected material, he rebuilt the brand carefully, respectfully, and in his own time. But there is a difference between guarding a monument and running a monument, and around 8 months ago, according to 2 separate sources close to the negotiation, Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar were not the first phone call. They were not the second phone call. They weren't even in the top 3. The initial conversations, in the quiet, happened with 2 major private equity firms that specialize in music catalog acquisitions, and 1 legacy major label distributor with the infrastructure to move Death Row product to every retail corner on Earth by the end of the week. All 3 of those conversations went cold, and they went cold for the same reason. Every single proposal that came back demanded that Snoop hand over something he was never going to hand over: creative sovereignty.
Every one of those 3 suitors wanted the crown along with the machinery, and Snoop said no. Once the 3rd conversation collapsed, the shortlist was empty. And in an empty shortlist moment, Snoop's team made a call to a phone number in Los Angeles that had never appeared on any list in the first place. That phone belonged to Dave Free, and when Dave Free picked up, the whole future of the catalog changed inside of a single conversation. Here is the second receipt. And this is where the whole thing stops looking like a music industry deal and starts looking like a template that every legacy catalog on the planet is now scrambling to reverse engineer. Because Dave Free did not walk into that boardroom with a checkbook. Dave Free walked in with an architecture. Read this line twice because it explains the entire deal. Death Row Records was not sold to PG Lang. Death Row Records was folded into a new joint entity operating under the PG Lang umbrella, with Snoop retaining specific classes of ownership over the culturally sacred assets, meaning the Tupac Vault, the Dre-era masters, and the founding-era intellectual property. Meanwhile, PG Lang took operational control over distribution, catalog exploitation, and the release strategy of every note that hit streaming from this point forward.
There you have it, Empire and Gold Toes, right there in the flesh.
In plain English, Snoop kept the crown, Dave Free took the machinery, and both men walked out of that boardroom with something more valuable than they walked in with. That is not a purchase, that is not an acquisition, that is architecture. And the only reason it worked is because Dave Free is not a music executive in the old-fashioned sense of the word. Dave Free is a systems designer who happens to operate in music. He does not buy things, he builds the room around things until the things belong to the room. Here is where the whole Drake situation enters this story, because the very second this partnership went live on Instagram, one specific person in the entire music industry immediately lost his composure in a private group chat that eventually leaked to reporters. That person was Drake. And the reason Drake lost his composure is that Drake has spent the last 3 years constructing a very specific cultural argument. Drake has been positioning himself, publicly and privately, as the modern inheritor of the Snoop-era West Coast crossover appeal. Drake has been photographed next to Snoop at multiple events. Drake has featured Snoop on records. Drake has repeatedly referenced Death Row aesthetics in interviews and album rollouts and merchandising. Drake has been trying to insert himself into the mythology of the West Coast for years, hoping that if he showed up in enough photos and dropped enough cosigns, he could rewrite the geography of the culture through pure repetition. And with one Instagram post, that entire multi-year positioning project just collapsed in real time. Because Snoop did not choose Drake. Snoop chose the architect who built the label that displaced Drake at Universal twice in 6 months. Once through Kendrick Lamar's Grammy sweep, and now through the PG Lang expansion into the sacred territory of West Coast ownership. And here is the part I want you to sit with, because it is the pattern nobody is naming out loud yet. Twice this year, Drake has watched cultural figures he genuinely believed he was aligned with publicly choose Kendrick Lamar over him. Steph Curry did it first, quietly, when he aligned his own creative direction with the PG Lang orbit rather than the OVO one. Snoop just did it second, and with paperwork this time. That is not a coincidence. That is not luck. That is not narrative. That is a pattern with a name on it. Kendrick has the trust. Drake has the tags. Kendrick has the phone calls that end in signatures. Drake has the group photos that end up in memes.
And there is a very specific reason the trust keeps flowing in one direction and the tags keep flowing in the other. And that reason is what the third receipt is about. Here is receipt 3, and it is the receipt that reframes everything you thought you understood about the last decade of hip-hop. Every single generation of this genre has had to answer the exact same question. Who owns the archive? Who holds the masters? Who signs the paperwork when the paperwork finally comes to the table? And every generation, that question gets answered by whoever is quietly standing in the room when the ink hits the page. Drake has spent his entire career performing at the highest possible level in rooms that Drake does not own. Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free have spent the last 5 years in the quiet, acquiring rooms that nobody even realized were for sale. That is the entire difference in one sentence. That is why when Snoop needed a partner, the phone call ended in Los Angeles, at the PG Lang building, at the desk of a man who spent 5 years making sure that when the biggest catalog in West Coast history came looking for a home, there was already a chair waiting. Because PG Lang is not a label. PG Lang is a room. A room with the lights on, the paperwork ready, the coffee already poured, and a chair at the head of the table with your name burned into the leather before you even knew the meeting was happening. There is one more layer to this that almost nobody in the commentary space has picked up on yet, and it matters more than any of the deal points on paper. The reason Snoop went with Dave Free is not just about creative alignment, it is about history. Because Dave Free has been sitting in rooms with Snoop, quietly, for years, not as an executive, as a student. When Kendrick Lamar was in his early career under Top Dog, Dave Free was the person in the background studying every move Snoop had ever made, cataloging every misstep the West Coast icons of the 90s made when their masters got taken from them, watching every ownership disaster in real time, and reverse engineering exactly what the next generation would need to do differently. Dave Free did not stumble into a death row acquisition. Dave Free has been preparing for a death row acquisition for longer than most executives in the current major label system have even been running their departments. And when the moment came, Snoop did not have to explain the emotional weight of what he was handing over, because Dave Free already understood the emotional weight better than the paperwork could ever describe. That is what cultural alignment actually looks like. It does not mean two people like the same music. It means one person can be trusted with the history of the other one. That trust is not something Drake could ever purchase, no matter how many features he cut, no matter how many photo ops he arranged, no matter how many cosigns he manufactured. Because trust in this culture is not a transaction. Trust is a residue. It is what is left behind after years of quiet consistency. And Dave Free has been leaving that residue in every room he has walked through since before most of us even knew his name. Here is what happens next, and this is the part every executive in the industry is going to spend the next month trying to model out. Death Row's catalog moving under PG Lang means 3 specific things, and each of the 3 is a headline in its own right. The first thing is that the unreleased Tupac vault, which has been sitting in a locked, climate-controlled room for 2 decades, collecting mystique and dust in equal measure, is about to become a strategic asset with a defined release calendar for the first time in 20 years. Not a leak, not a bootleg, a calendar.
With release windows, marketing rollouts, visual accompaniments, and the PG Lang aesthetic layered over every single frame. The second thing is that the Dre-era masters instantly become licensable across the entire PG Lang film and content operation, which means every future PG Lang film, every future PG Lang commercial, every future PG Lang short, every future PG Lang album rollout gets to reach into some of the most iconic samples in the entire history of hip-hop. That is a creative multiplier no independent operation has ever had access to before. Ever. Not once. And the third thing, which is the one that matters most, and the one that Drake understood immediately when he opened Instagram that morning, is that the entire cultural center of gravity of West Coast hip-hop is now consolidated inside one building. And that building has Kendrick Lamar's name over the door and Dave Free's fingerprints on every doorknob. Drake is not just losing a rap beef anymore. Drake is losing to the West Coast as a physical location, and the West Coast just moved into the same office as PG Lang. Now let me pull back for a second, because there is a bigger story running underneath all of this, and it is the story that separates surface-level observers from people who actually understand how power moves in music. For the last 20 years, ownership in this business has flowed one way. Artists made the music, executives made the money, and every once in a while, a superstar with enough leverage negotiated a piece of the machine on the way out. Jay-Z did it, and what Jay-Z did was monumental, and it changed the ceiling for every artist who came after. But even Jay-Z's biggest wins have been tied to strategic partnerships with mega conglomerates. Roc Nation is tied to Live Nation. Tidal was tied to Square. The empire is real, but the empire is stitched to other empires. What Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar have been building in the quiet is something none of us have actually seen before at this scale. A creative operation that owns the pipeline, owns the aesthetic, owns the distribution logic, owns the film division, owns the commercial arm, owns the catalog, and now owns Death Row. Not licensed to, not partnered with, owns. That is a Jay-Z scale empire with the added ingredient of a Kanye scale creative vision, minus the Kanye scale volatility. And it is being built by two men who almost never do interviews, almost never take pictures, and almost never explain themselves. They just keep making moves and letting the paperwork do the talking. The receipts do the talking. And here is the part that the average music industry commentator is going to miss for at least another 6 months. This deal is not about Death Row. Not really. Death Row is the trophy. The actual weapon is the template. Because Dave Free just proved something out loud that most legacy catalog owners have been afraid to admit even in private. A catalog does not need to be sold to be scaled. A catalog can be structurally partnered with a creative operation in a way that preserves cultural ownership for the original holder while unlocking operational firepower for the partner. That framework, that specific architecture, is now sitting on the desk of every legacy catalog rights holder in America. And every single one of them just looked at the Death Row template and thought the same thought. If it worked for Snoop, it can work for me. Which means over the next 12 to 18 months, you are going to see a wave of legacy catalog partnerships that mirror the Death Row structure, and every single one of them is going to be measured against the day Dave Free walked into that boardroom in downtown Los Angeles and folded a monument into a room with the lights already on. And for Drake, this is the part that has to hurt the most, and I do not say that with joy, I say it with clinical accuracy.
Drake is one of the most talented commercial artists in the history of the format. Drake has generated more listening hours in a decade than most legends generate in a lifetime. Drake has hits that will be playing at weddings and cookouts for the next 50 years. All of that is true. And none of it changes the fact that Drake spent his entire career optimizing for the wrong variable. Drake optimized for cultural presence. Kendrick and Dave Free optimized for cultural ownership. Presence expires. Ownership compounds. Presence is Instagram followers. Ownership is a Wednesday morning boardroom in downtown Los Angeles with a document that has been in negotiation for 8 straight months. And now, in the quiet, Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free just crossed a threshold that no rapper of their generation has ever crossed. They stopped being artists with a label. They became a label with artists. And the label they just absorbed happens to be the label that invented the very idea that West Coast rap could be a global economic force in the first place. You cannot script it any cleaner than that. And there is a second-order consequence that hip-hop is not ready to talk about yet, but it is coming. Because when a catalog of this cultural weight moves under a creative operation of this specific philosophy, every artist currently under a legacy major deal is going to start doing the math on their own situation. Every artist. Not just the ones you would expect, Not just the anti-establishment voices, the mainstream artists too. The ones with the platinum plaques and the arena tours and the private jets. Because those artists know something the public rarely gets to see. They know that ownership on paper and control in practice are two completely different conversations. And what Dave Free just demonstrated in one Wednesday morning boardroom is that there is now a third option on the table. Not staying at the major, not going fully independent, a third road. A structural partnership with a creative operation that treats the artist as a co-architect instead of a line item on a quarterly forecast. That third road did not exist 18 months ago. It exists now. And once a road exists, artists start walking down it. Snoop just walked down it. The question the entire industry is asking right now, behind closed doors and off the record, is who walks down it next? Because whoever it is, they are going to be doing it with a phone call to a specific building in downtown Los Angeles. And that phone call is going to end exactly the same way the death row call ended. In a signature, in silence, in an Instagram post the next morning that rewires another corner of the culture while the loudest people in the room are still trying to figure out what just happened. Now, if you have been watching this channel for a while, you already know what this looks like from the outside. It looks like Kendrick disappeared. It looks like Kendrick has been quiet. It looks like Kendrick is not doing anything because Kendrick is not posting, is not touring endlessly, is not doing rounds of podcast appearances, is not begging for anybody's attention. And meanwhile, Drake cannot stop moving. Drake is on every stream, every playlist, every social feed, every collaboration, every guest verse, every rollout. And the whole time, the algorithm and the casual observer have been trained to interpret motion as productivity and quiet as absence. But the whole Dave Free situation just exposed the truth. Kendrick was not gone. Kendrick was in rooms. Kendrick was in boardrooms. Kendrick was on 8-month negotiations. Kendrick was building the machinery that Drake is now going to be a customer of, whether Drake likes it or not. Because that PG Lang catalog is going to reach into every corner of the culture Drake is still trying to occupy.
And the loudest man in the room just found out that he is not even in the building. Now here is the part I want to close on, because it is a question I want every single one of you to sit with. If Dave Free was willing to sit in an 8-month negotiation for Death Row Records without a single leak, not one industry whisper, not one gossip blog getting the tip, not one plant on Twitter, then what else is currently sitting on that negotiation desk right now that we have not been told about yet? Because a man who can keep a Death Row acquisition invisible for 8 months is not doing just one deal. That is not how this works. That is not how any of this works. Somewhere in downtown Los Angeles, there is a whiteboard, and on that whiteboard, there is a list, and Death Row is one line on that list. What is on the other lines, and when do we find out? And who is the next legend to walk into that building and walk out with a partnership that rewrites their entire third act? Because whoever it is and whenever it happens, we are going to find out about it on a random Wednesday morning, and Drake is going to find out about it on Instagram. And by the time the rest of the industry figures out what actually happened, the paperwork is going to already be signed, and the coffee is going to already be poured, and the machinery is going to already be running. So here is what I want from you, and I mean this. Drop it in the comments. What is the very first Death Row track you want to hear come out under the P. Lang aesthetic? A Tupac Vault release? A Dre era master reissue with new visual treatment? A Snoop retrospective? A brand new artist rolling out of that catalog with the full P. Lang film division behind them? Tell me, because I am reading every single comment on this one. And when the first release lands, we are breaking it down the same day, second by second, frame by frame, and I want you in the comments when it happens. Do me a favor before you leave. Tap the like button so this video reaches the people who need to see it. Hit subscribe if you have not already, and turn the notifications on, because when Dave Free's next move drops, you do not want to be finding out about it from someone else. You want to be the one telling other people. That is what this channel is for, and you are the reason it works. You carried this channel here, and I will not forget it. If you want to see how the last piece of this puzzle came together, I am dropping a full breakdown right now of the exact sequence of events that made Kendrick and Dave Free the two most dangerous men in music, and I'm gonna link it right here on the screen. Go watch it. It is the missing chapter. I will see you inside.
All right. So first of all, thank y'all for sitting through that. I knew it was a long presentation, but I felt like it was paramount where we're at right now. I see your hand, Mr. Kermit. Definitely, you can definitely speak your mind. But I need everybody's help that's in here right now because I know we can accomplish something like that or greater. What we already have right now, Kermit. So if I can get everybody, if I can get everybody on the same page, man, that'd be a blessing. Everybody got any questions about what we just watched, what we just heard? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm looking at this in an applicable way. I'm not looking at it like, oh, Dave Free and Kendrick did such and such. No, I'm looking at it like we're about to do what they just set up the template for.
Can I say something real quick? I know everybody, want to be superstars and all of that, but this shit is fucking amazing. Getting into this part right here to where you have ownership, real estate. You hear me say it all the time, Trill. Real estate. Having the real estate. And even me watching this, I done sent a text message to my conglomerates already, like, we in the wrong arena. They haven't hit me back, but they trust me. They gonna hit me back. I told them we in the wrong arena. I said we need to do that, man. Fuck that. We have leverage because we have ownership, 100% ownership. So we have leverage. We can move. We can bounce. We can tear that contract up and tell them kiss our ass and we can cut. Because to me, I see something greater. I just heard and witnessed here on this video. It's the same shit Master P and Baby from Cash Money did, but it's on a grander scale. The same shit. Yeah, the same shit Ghazi and Gold Toes did with Empire GT. And they done made some major moves too because they not trying to fall up under UMPG. Ghazi not. Hell no. He from the Bay. He like, hell no. Nope. We independent up here.
They're trying to shuffle him under that label though. They're trying to shuffle him.
They trying, but he done busted the move so cold. I mean, it's ridiculous. Man, he did some shit. And that's why I stay fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? But all you artists, I understand. You got talent, the same shit. Me too. I got talent too, but I've been to drop my artist hat a long time ago. I don't do shit because I have to. I do it because I can, because I love the culture. But so forth is that business and that real estate and when you can walk into the room and people feel your presence, like this motherfucker owns me. He owns some shit. And they don't even know you. And they see that you are business. The Lucius and Cookie Lion effect. People look at you and tell that you run shit.com. But owning it and getting into that business end like that and partnering up with people like that, I ain't afraid. You got everything to gain, and you got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Seriously. So I just wanted to put that out there. And like I said, in the midst of this video, I was sending text messages out. So yeah. So go ahead, Kermit.
All right, Kermit. You got your hand raised, don't you?
Yeah. First of all, as far as the videos, obviously there's some amazing information to absorb. But a lot of times hearing that voice or the voice that you hear on a lot of videos is kind of a turnoff. I'm gonna give an example. It's a lot of clickbait videos. What R. Kelly just did yesterday and whatever. And I even saw one when P. Diddy was first locked up. P. Diddy escapes from jail. I mean, all this nonsense. It's just, sometimes it get irritating. But anyway, another thing, I'm close with the Jackson family. So it bothers me every time I see one of these Jackson things showing them when they first started and how they look now. They used what's the brother name? They used a picture of the guy that was on American Idol when they do the one brother. I'm trying to think which one it was. Not Tito, not
Marlon,
Marlon. Thank you. No, not Marlon. No, not Marlon.
Jackie, Tito, Marlon, Randy.
Randy, there you go. Randy Jackson. They used the Randy Jackson from American Idol photo on social media when they showing the Jackson family. Like, dude, really? I mean, AI. I mean, come on. It gets to be so crazy. Why am I seeing on every? I have not seen one time on Instagram or Threads a video showing the Jacksons that didn't show Randy Jackson from American Idol versus the Randy Jackson that's actually from the group. So I'm just saying that, like a lot of that, I rather would have like you or somebody or unusual commentator that you don't hear all the time doing those videos. It makes it sounds more genuine than just like, oh, okay, now I got to go dissect. Okay, what's real, what's not real here. I got to go detect what's real, what's not real.
Well, I will say this. I felt that way too when I ran into this channel, but the only channels that I support and share and encourage other people to listen to is only after I fact check them first. So the fact that I'm bringing them on here means it's already been vetted. So if you want to do it again, that's up to you. But I encourage everybody to research it actually because everybody needs to know this information. But everything that I've heard from this channel has been actual, factual, not nothing else. You know what I mean? So,
well, my thing is, I'm glad I recorded because I can listen to it again because I have a very short attention span, like a little kid. So I definitely want to hear it again. I love the information. I thought it was great that you had the video and everything that's discussed in it. But my thing is just to really to absorb it. I wasn't able to absorb it for the entire time. I got a lot of the key information, but I want to actually absorb it. But back to
I
the
just
thing
sent you
about
the video. I just sent you the video to your text messages. So,
okay, great. And the other thing is that the fact of like the ownership thing and all of that, the all that's great. Everything we saw is great, and I didn't catch everything, so I can't comment on everything. But I want to comment on this part. A lot of these companies, like when you get them or you buy a company or whatever, they've already made most of the money that they're ever going to make in life, damn near. Other than stuff situations like when Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog or bought part of Sony Music or whatever, things like that. And this is similar to that. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying a lot of times with a lot of companies, you catch them at the very end of when all the money that already been made. That's like P. Diddy giving his publishing back on some of those groups. Yeah, they're going to make a few dollars. They're going to be able to pay their phone bill, maybe even rent or whatever in general. But he giving them the publishing back after he done made billions off the damn thing. And now nobody's really listening to those songs as much anymore. But yeah, they will continue to make money forever, forever, forever. But it's just like, at what point do you actually get what you're getting? And I'm back on mute. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, one point to that, they did mention in the video. They said it. They said that they said it's more so of a trophy of ownership, like the positioning, but like the real structure was that they're coming together and they basically making their own ecosystem is what I got from it. Like they kind of taking
correct,
the blueprint.
correct.
It's really more the blueprint of it, not really the. And like they said, it's the trophy, but it's the blueprint of them having full ownership as a black entertainment company, and I think that is the way, honestly.
So I really feel like he was illustrating uh, how to take other artists and other bodies of work, including catalogs, make money off of it without having to sell the full rights to whatever it is, keeping the actual people who created it as co-creators and crediting them as such. This is a model that came from the Web3 world through smart contracts. This was not a thing. Nobody ever talked like this about anything in music or business until smart contracts came out. because up until then it was benefited, and he said this in the video. It was everything has been structured strictly to allow the executives to benefit only, and the artist and or the co-creator to be in the backseat. And so this allows for the co-creators to be named the co-creators and to benefit as the co-creators and to continue creative control as the co-creator. I don't know if that makes sense or I'm just talking gibberish.
Man, I'm answering these text messages. Oh yeah, it's on fire over here. My message. Yep.
Time is now. Time is now. So
yeah, it's seriously time to bust a move, and man, got to figure out how to get that blueprint.
well, you got to call PG Lane office, man, because apparently they got the whole
He already hit Dave Free in his box on IG. So
yeah. I mean, because I think that just imagine, I'm from Florida, bro, so I'm looking at it from Florida perspective. If Florida had that, bro, we would be unstoppable.
But the thing is, you do got it. They just told us, man. They not. From what I just heard on that video, that's an opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very serious opportunity because, man, I'd rather deal with somebody who separate themselves from being the star and the executive. You know what I'm saying? Because so they can concentrate on what they concentrating on. So that's one big reason why I laid down being an entertainer. I gotta say that's the easy part. I don't have to do that no more. No, man, I'm trying to get me some superstars up under my belt.
Right.
Man. And I tell Les Franklin the same thing, man. He was born to entertain and stuff and preach, But I say, look, man, we older cats. We need to start thinking about expansion.
Come on now.
Now we got the force behind us, but now this shit pop up. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong arena.
Come on now.
I'm not telling this to my constituents. We in the wrong arena. We could be doing a whole lot better with these fresh minds over here. Man, I don't know. Somebody hear me now.
I'm just so happy that you see the value and what that I was trying to show with that video. Because a lot of people might have been like, "Oh, well, what's the point of that? What that got to do with us?" Blah 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 blah. It's got everything to do with us. It's got everything.
Lay your artistry down, y'all, for one hot motherfucking minute. I'm trying to tell you something here. This year, I'm ready to fade right now, Trill. I'm telling you, I'm pacing back and forth.
No,
I'm ready to fade. No, but that's one because my mind moved fast. And you see, in the midst of, I'm already sending out kites.
And that was the point of what I wanted to play the video for, is to activate. I want people to activate. I don't want to have no long conversations about it. I don't want to over pontificate. I want to move.
Right. I like pontificating, but I don't like to pontificate on some shit that I know if you don't get your ass up and move, it ain't gonna come to you. It's not gonna come to you. Nobody ain't finna hand you shit. Nope. And I'm just keeping that shit gangster, cuz it ain't nothing finna come to you. Nobody looking for you. Nobody gives a fuck who you is.
Until you make them care.
Until you make them. Until you make them do, unless you giving up forgive my language, unless you giving up a gang of pussy on some ass.
I'm telling you. And that's the Diddy part.
I see King Cope got his hands up. I see King Cope got his hands up, and it's almost 1:30. Hold on a second. Let me just say one thing. I had to thank Chill Will for me. I just updated my information I put in the chat. I use his thing as a guideline for doing it, putting in there like my name, company, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, X, website, email address, phone number. So thanks, Chill Will. I'm giving you credit for that. I'm not going to take from somebody not giving their credit. That's not what I do. Okay, King Cole, the floor is yours.
All right, Cole.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. I really appreciated that video. It did put a lot of highlights on a lot of different aspects of the business. Specifically what we're looking at in the room that we're standing in right now. A lot of that can be applied to us. Cross advertising. Supporting each other, umbrella corporations over the top of each other to protect each other in case anything happens one way or another, because the deeper the network, the deeper they're gonna have to dig, the more paperwork they're gonna have to file. It's gonna make it harder to even approach us with any situation.
Well, if you use an irrevocable trust, it's not touchable. But go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But specifically what he was pointing out in the video was they were passing on certain legacy information and music to somebody who was going to treat it with maturity. And he's gone through, 8 months of litigation and contract signing and stuff. I guarantee you that's just because they want to make sure he's not just going to, as a kid, you get a trust fund and then just go spend it all. You see what I mean? He's got to preserve that legacy. That way in the future generations can release pieces of that and it not lose its value. It has to gain value. And that's really where we are, is we need to gain value by making our music last as a legacy.
Well, I think pardon stuff. I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but I think that's what Mr. Kermit was saying when he said he stopped following Death Row after they were bought by Hasbro, because he was like, because really, there's no way that Hasbro has any intention of maintaining the cultural integrity of the emotional weight that Death Row represents to the hip hop culture as a whole. Never mind to the West Coast, because that's everything to the West Coast. So.
But what I will say, you did open my eyes up, Trill, because I wasn't really thinking about the smart contracts. So if you could go like to the bones of the situation and then like put the new to it, because if you just do like the digital without the foundation, because the name, you think of Death Row, especially being from the West where they from, man, that's just like a lot of credibility for the moves that they're about to make. And then they're really acknowledging the foundation. They're really giving us the key. Like they're really letting us know that we gotta go back to the old with the new. We can't just do the digital without the old. And that's kind of like giving them that foundation. Like so they bringing it all together.
I feel like them just bringing that music back to be released. Sorry. Was a way to bring the newer generation a standard, because they're all like hype about themselves, but they have no standard of what it used to be like, and the people that have been through that experience, and give anybody that grew up a little bit later than the 90s saw everything evolve into something else, and it lost some of its quality along the way. So bringing that standard back of like, look what they did. Y'all can't say that, what you're doing now is any better than this if you ain't even up to par on this. So
and they basically own the file. They own the history. They own the data of that time, so they could like repurpose it and teach in the process, because they obviously trying to teach as well. They giving like keys here and there.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what the fuck he said. Mm-hmm. That's what you heard me say. I'm in the wrong arena.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no shame in it, bruh. Yeah, mistakes be made. Lucian Grange is moving from Great Britain to New York. He is setting foot in the United States.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, right. Come on, man. Lucian is the whole UMPG. The whole shit is going to be in New York.
Wow. Okay.
Man, and that's a big move. But with this information today, I see what's going on. This is 1998 all over again for me.
Facts. I see that too. I do.
This is 98 all over again for me. And I gotta jump. Jump. See what I'm saying? I'm ahead of the game. We all ahead of the game, man. Man, Trill. Well, I'm telling you, boy, woo, I wish a motherfucker was here in front of my face so I can throw sets right now. Boy,
Mr. Kermit said it. Mr. Kermit said it real dope. He was like, when he was
yeah,
talking earlier, he said, remember he said the record stores, the one he was working for first was like at number 3, and then he
yeah.
started, printing up all the papers, and then they went up, and that's basically what they telling us. Like, we got to take it back to that printing state. We got to take it back to that
The
foundational
physical,
era.
back to the outlet swamp, the physical, guerrilla marketing, guerrilla promo.
Exactly.
I've been how long I've been saying that shit too, Drew? Come on, man. You
We've
better
been,
tell
but we both been saying that shit this whole time for real.
tell
But
him, my man, been saying that.
It's two things, though, guys. One is that no one will ever promote you better than you can promote yourself. Number one.
Okay.
Number two,
Okay. Come
just
on.
because you got a record deal, your job is not over. It's about the Kobe effect. You know,
Right.
is the job done yet? Is the job done yet? Just because I got a record deal.
That part right there.
I love that.
Now, true. I guarantee, and mark my word, just from the visionary, I know they about to mention their street team soon. I know it, and they gonna make a dope. They gonna make a real new age dope. That's gonna be big. They gonna be the street team gonna be big as the stream is, bro. I promise you that. I know they.
Yeah, because they directly connected.
How many years I've been saying it, Will? How many years I've been saying?
At least three. At least 3.
Man, come on, bro. I'm ahead of the game. The moment they feel, I keep telling motherfuckers that, bro. I'm really gonna go hard in the paint now. You see what I'm saying? Fuck that shit. By hook or crook, I'm gonna talk to Dave Free.
Yeah, and you need to please bring up GFM, sir.
Look, you know, I'm a capitalist. Remember, it's conquest on my end. It's too much. It's too much fuckery that I've been sick of for the last 2 decades.
It's over now.
Yeah, like I said, this is fire again. I mean, right when we get off this call, I'm gonna be burning the phone up real quick. And I'm gonna
make sure end the call then, because I need you on the phones. Because you one of my secret weapons. I need you on the phone. What the hell?
I'm gonna burn this bitch down. No, I'm gonna talk to them niggas personally. I got homies in it. I got homies.
You're OG for real. You're double OG for real. Like, we know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on the horn. I'm gonna call I'm gonna call Dub C. I'm gonna call Joe Cooley from Ronnie old nigga. I got homies down there. I'm gonna call and somebody.
And I guarantee you they already plugged in.
That like it ain't shit. That's their homie. Oh yeah, we barbecue and kick it on Saturday. That's how they is.
They function. Yep. Come on now.
They don't think it has nothing. They just homies, all homies.
Hey, Trill.
Fuck that.
Yes, sir.
Trill, you must
But
have.
yo, Trill, I will say this before I bounce. I ain't here for nothing, bro. I ain't gonna sit here and cap like I waste my time being here for nothing. Like I've been here for a while now for a reason, bro.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I'm not a bored person, bro. So I know this is definitely a big thing happening right now, man. This whole situation, and I just encourage all of us, man. Let's do this shit for real.
Some 2 words like paradigm shift. Remember, I used to say that a lot. Paradigm shift.
Yep. That's when you change your perspective. When you gain extra degrees of perspective, which is the same degrees they be talking about from 1 to 33. Come on, let's go.
Right now, I can't help it. I'm in war. I'm a war chief. I'm back at it right now. Let's do it.
That's what I needed.
Y'all need to get on this, and I'm gonna say this respectfully, with no disrespect. Every last one of you motherfuckers on here, man, we need to be a hive collective mind. For GFM, it has to be a hive collective mind. You see, if you can hear the tenacity in my voice and the malice that's with it, you have to understand something. You have to really, really understand, and this is the way you got to take it. I'm one of the dopest lyricists, producers, all that shit. But with this business, man, I'm so above level, they don't understand me. But this is the moment that they fear. It's a paradigm shift. It's a jump. You have a jump. We all have a jump right here. Y'all should be just as juiced as I am watching that video. Everybody.
I couldn't even sleep last night. Mr. Kelly. I seen that video for the first time about less than 12 hours ago.
You have a pass. You should have texted my ass.
Hey,
that's hilarious. I'm gonna remember that though. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I'm keep that in mind.
You have a pass. But it's poignant that it's something that's serious. Like, yo, bro, I know it's late, but check this out. And I will watch it and be like, what the hell? Man.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to that channel and go back and watch the few videos before, because it leads up to that. It doesn't just go there. They're walking that channel walks us down step by step how they're doing everything, when they're doing everything, and how they're playing chess. Like, it's crazy. They're playing 7-dimensional chess right now.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no bullshit. And Kendrick just leaked his own song through his homeboy. Was it a great? Not Sweatshirt Earl. What's the other dude name? The dude from anyway. He just leaked his own song called "How to Pray," and so people expecting him to diss Drake, but he don't got to diss Drake, bro. It's over. It's over. It's cool.
Drake diss himself every time he think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put himself in a category.
He put himself in a cage, and that's what the end of Not Like Us video. He's walking away, he's a bird in the cage. He don't even know, but the bird don't even know he's in the cage. Because from the bird's perspective, he's free. But from Kendrick's perspective, he's looking like, damn.
Chicken don't know he fried and got flour on his ass.
Hey, I'm gonna post my email in the chat. Y'all send me a couple like 5-second clips or some pictures of y'all's some advertisements of y'all stuff. I'm gonna put it together in a little clip to put on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We all want to advertise yourself, and it's gonna have, so everybody know who fucking with GFM. You feel me? So let me know, and I'll get with Trill. I'll get with Trill to make sure everything good with him before I pass that off or post anything. You feel me though?
They know. Yeah. People know who fuck with who, trust that. Just remember, haters stay silent. Haters stay silent. They wait till you bust a move, man, and then they try to rain on your parade, or they do it silently elsewhere where they know you're not lurking.
Right, and still be in your face. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that.
It's good, but I'm saying they know. People know. People tell me you know True Will. I said, yeah, that's my bro. What's up? And then they be quiet. I'd be like, yeah, that part.
Yeah, the rest of that is it's obsolete, right? Before you say anything else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that part. Well, you mess with some guys down south? Yes, I am. Says you motherfuckers not.
Right.
I know where it's about business with me. I know. Yeah, that Golden Gate Bridge that spans across the two peninsulas here in the Yay, it swung all the way up.
That's a real thing. They missed that. They missed that song. Go check out that Bad Ideas.
It swung all the way to D-Land. That shit landed. The bridge lands right in front of Trill's house.
Shit, crazy.
Ouch. But y'all go ahead. I have to excuse myself. But yeah, man.
Anybody got any other comments, questions, or concerns?
Yeah, I just want to say Trill Will must have gave me your wrong phone number because you don't respond to none of my texts.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I don't do that now. Let's go back. Hold on.
Probably didn't say my number.
Yeah,
I'll send you something right now.
I don't send no misinformation out at all. I don't do that.
I'm about to text you again right now. So you'll see it currently.
Yeah, because Mr. Kermit said he wanted to talk to you, Mr. Kermit. Yeah, he did say that.
No, I was saying that. No, I was saying I could listen to him talk all day because he talked my language. He's one person on here that's real similar to me historically in the music industry, and the music business is all about relationships, and the Bay Area has always been important to me. Because I would, like I say, Too Short, for example. I used to pick up somebody mentioned the artist earlier. I used to pick up Too Short at the airport when he come to Cleveland, take him to the hood to get his haircut. Even though he got a bald head, he still want a haircut every time he do a show. And would take him to the theater, all of that stuff back in the day. I lost contact with him when he moved to Atlanta. I haven't talked to him since he moved to Atlanta. But
Mr. Kelly, did you get his message?
Yeah, I just sent it.
Oh, okay.
Do you see it? It should be your top message.
He might have got a call or something. I know how that shit go.
Okay.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap the call up either way. I'm gonna make sure y'all get in contact though. I'm gonna make sure of that. So, if nothing else. All right. Anybody got any comments, questions, or concerns? We ran super late today, but it was a super important subject. So, and it's dealing on hip hop 101, tied full circle. All right. Everybody unmute your mics at this time. Y'all know what time it is. We're gonna get out of here to right. Oh, Heather's in here. What's up, Heather? You want to wrap it up? What's up, Heather Marie?
Shreveport in
Agent
the
Heather
building.
Marie.
Shreveport in the building.
Heather Marie. Oh, she's out of here. All right. Everybody unmute your mics. We're gonna get out of here the right way, not the light way.
Okay.
All right, let's get it. Let's go. Someone say I want to see us all at the top and together in unison. We're gonna say because the bottom is way too crowded. Big GFM. What does GFM stand for? God first, family second, and money third. All right, let's get it. Let's go. Shout out to all of the people who are here and the people who not here. Shout out to GFM Media, Free Supreme until Supreme is free. Shout out to Miss Regina for coming on and visiting us again today. You know what I'm saying? That was dope. Let's get it. Let's go. I want to see us all at the top. 1, 2, 3.
Because
Because
the
the
Because the
bottom
bottom
is
bottom
is
is
way too
way
way
too
too
crowded.
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 Big
Big
GFM.
GFM,
Big
God first,
GFM.
Kelly
family
Yeah,
second,
Franklin,
and
God
money
first,
third.
money
Uncle
second.
Will,
Second
Kermit,
money
Family
third.
second, money third.
Copeland, I
Okay.
mean,
Shout
Big
out to
Love,
Kermit.
Greg, I
Shout out
mean,
to
Free
Miss
Supreme till he's
Regina,
free, I mean,
Shout out
the
to Mr.
Queen.
we're
Will.
doing
Shout
this
Shout
out
out
thing
to
to
big.
Kermit.
Alexis Bria. Shout out to
Somebody
ECMD. Shout out
barely
to Kazerni.
A big
Shout out
love.
to
Gabby
Helix.
was showing the
Shout out
free
to Heather Banks.
too.
Shout
Hey,
out to Even Though
appreciate
I'm
you. Yeah.
Blind. Shout out to
Wow.
First thing
King
in the
Pope,
morning.
Team SC. Shout out to Kelly Franklin Music Group. Shout out to Khalil.
Shout out
And
to
shout out to Ray
everyone
Ray.
who is.
Shout
Free Supreme, tell Supreme free.
If we
Shout out to
keep
that
coming in here
man.
every day, the top gonna be crowded.
That's okay. And that's okay. And I'm
Hey,
okay with
we can
that.
make
That means
room.
that. And that would means that we were the shift. And that's okay. I'm okay with going down in history like that. And I hope y'all are too. So, because y'all are part of it. You know what I mean? So that's how we doing. All right, y'all. Well, shit, I guess we're gonna get up out of here. Much love to everybody. We see everybody tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Normally to 1 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Unless we have some big cooking. Yeah, that's up though. Appreciate y'all. Much love. Peace to all the gods and goddesses of the planet Q.
Yeah, be safe.
Hit the end it. Hit the end button.
I received a text. He had a situation. He had to excuse himself. So yeah, end it.